Good morning. It'll be morning when you see this. Grown conversation. And I rarely use this background. I don't try to be over dramatic. I'm already performing artist, dramatic enough. But when white supremacists write state lawmakers to demand that you die with your children because it's God's will, that's literally what we have to talk about today. If you are a black woman of childbearing age, if you know or love a black woman of childbearing age, listen up. This is happening in liberal California. A member of two white supremacist groups wrote a black woman legislator who's the author of a bill, AB 3129, to let her know his opposition. We presume it to him. Um, it need not be, but I'll come back to why this is actually significant in a moment. To let her know that defects and deaths in black mothers and children giving birth are God's will to control black population because, every non-white birth is a drain on taxpayers. Like black people don't pay taxes. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. It is necessary to say here also, United States, this is copyrighted material, but United States Title Code 17 allows for what's called the fair use doctrine, whereby copyrighted material can be put forward for the purpose of criticism and commentary. This is commentary. The headline is right there. Hate incident. Black maternal deaths are God's will, says white supremacist in letter to legislators and Attorney General Bonta. Again, good old liberal California. By California Black Media by way of the San Francisco Post. Again, United States Title Code 17, fair use doctrine. This is criticism and commentary. Commentary. You can read it at your leisure. I'm going to go through certain parts of it. A member of a white supremacist group wrote a racist letter addressed to members of the California legislature and Attorney General Rob Bonta, claiming deaths of black mothers and children during childbirth are God's will. I can stop right there, but I want you to understand something, that the person who received the letter is Assembly Member Laura D. Wilson. She's the chair of the Legislative Back Caucus and the author of the bill, AB 2319. I hope I gave that right the first time. 2319. So this person wrote a black woman to tell a black woman that we believe every non-white birth in the state is a drain on taxpayers, and that any miscarriage or complication that results in death, defect of the mother or the child is God's way of ensuring population control among blacks and other minorities. Go back and roll that around in your mind again for a minute. Any miscarriage or complication that results in death and defect of the mother or the child is God's way of ensuring population control among blacks and other minorities. And this Hitlerian, because that's what this is. This is genocide in the womb being proposed. Wrote a black woman to tell her that he wants women and children like her to die. Now, this is the significant part. My fellow Wa auntie, Confidence with Love, Auntie Love, says on almost, no matter what the topic is, she'll work it in. She's a nurse. If there are people bold enough to write this to a legislature, whether this is a man or a woman, could easily be a woman as well. I got some homework for y'all to do today. I want you to look at how many women there are in the table of contents for the Heritage Foundation Project 2025 and who are out there making policy for you. Notice the number of women and that their names are European type names, white women in America. Whoever wrote this letter, also, people who believe like this have sisters, mothers, daughters, and wives in healthcare. So that when you understand the maternal mortality rate is 4 times higher for Black women and about 2.5 times higher for Latino and Native American women, Again, you have individuals bold enough to write Black women to tell Black women state legislators that we want you to have death and defect of you and your children. They have sisters, mothers, daughters, and wives who work in healthcare. And that number is already 4 times as high for Black women. Do you understand that people are literally doing rituals to their gods in hospitals? And that's why that number is so high. Do you understand that you and your children are literally being hunted? And this person accidentally outed the devilry that they're doing. For those of you who are Bible readers, you will remember way back in Exodus chapter 1 that there arose a Pharaoh who knew not Joseph, who saved everybody's tailbone in Genesis, who wanted to control the population of the Hebrews. And so he ordered his midwives to kill the Hebrew children as they were coming into the world. Exodus, chapter 1. And in chapter 2, when that did not work, then he rallied up the men to go into the women's houses, take the babies out, and throw them into the Nile River. Exodus chapter 1 and 2. And what they were hoping to do was to control the population by just killing the children. Had that not worked, they probably would have escalated a little bit higher. But what I'm saying to you is the attack to destroy, to do genocide, is against the children and the mothers. We have this idea that genocide is only wiping out the men. No, this betrays a lack of knowledge of history. Auntie Love has also been very careful to show us that lynchings were not just Black men. Women and children were constant targets. Cutting out children, stomping them into the ground was something that people enjoy doing. There's pictures and postcards of that too. We just tend to put the men on a pedestal. But when Billie Holiday sang about strange fruit, she knew that that fruit came in multiple varieties. Action steps. This is not going to be a long video because I have rearranged my work schedule slightly today so that I can take some action steps. I have a whole course to record for y'all. I was hoping that we would be talking today about a relaunch at the 6-month mark for my book. We're not. Not at least not yet. We got a bunch of serious things. Action steps. I need you to share this video with other Black women. I need you to share this video with other Black women. And let them know that if this is happening in liberal California, and remember, it's not just about this, anybody can write a letter, but you need to understand this man has sisters, mothers, daughters, wives who are in healthcare who are accounting for the murder of Black women and children at a rate 4 times higher. Homework, keeping this video short. Share it. Let people know what's going on. Let the Black women around you know what's going on. It's number one. Number two, do you know who your state legislator is? Do you know anything about your state Senate and House or Assembly? I know who my state senator is. So I'm going to have to let this be known and see what his response is to it. If you are a Christian, additional homework, you better find out what the so-called men of God around you believe about this and who they're worshiping and how they follow up, not react. I think most preachers would be wise enough. He has a number of Black women in his church to react appropriately. He'll gauge from your expression how you should react. But then what's the follow-up on protecting Black women and children in that church? And if there is none, you need to get out of there. Because this really comes down to what kind of God are people worshiping? Because we have people, even in liberal California, that think it's God's will for Black women and children to die in maternal situations. Extra credit. I'm putting the link to the Heritage Foundation's 900 and some page document. Easy assignment. Read the table of contents. Notice the gender of the names. And just know, if you read the next 50 pages, Black women are mentioned almost exactly the way they are, as the problem needing a final solution, as they are in this document here. And though that document is for legislators, Republican presidents particularly, but as you can see, it's 2024 and people are making their will known to Black women in government now. Advanced thought, if you are preparing yourself or thinking about having children with any man who will not listen to you about how serious this is, you need to drop him like a hot potato and run, because that's kind of man is not going to go to bat and defend you. See, now I understand why 44 years ago, the pediatrician who was working with my mom, she remembered, she told me this. The first thing they offered her were abortion options for me. Thank God she didn't take them. But like I said, these people have sisters, daughters, mothers, and wives in healthcare. I've said this before. Black women, playtime is over. Get your life together while you still have it. For real. These people are coming for us and our children right now. Auntie Love has not been out here hitting this bell for no reason. She was a nurse. She's done more research on this than probably anybody than any of us know. Anybody else, rather. I'm a Baptist preacher's daughter. Second close. I know that there are still some of you listening to me that have access to people that have 5-figure and 6-figure numbers of Black women. I'm gonna need you to shake a leg on this, because in this same circle of women, I know that we have people that are advising Black women that it's okay to abort your male children. Well, that means half the time when you get pregnant, you'll be going into the hands of the sisters, daughters, wives, and mothers of people that want you to die. That point's been made. That's actually old news in this larger circle of the House of Themas. That's old news. That's already been debated and discussed. But I want everybody to know that if you have heard that, half the time when you have children, instead of you learning not to lay down with men who don't care if you die, who inside the community may make the pregnancy rate, the femicide numbers are like 8 times as high after you're pregnant. Understand that outside the community, when you go to the hospital, that you meet the mothers, sisters, daughters, and wives of these men here. So it is no longer in any way in line with wisdom to give that kind of advice. We're not even talking about the loss of Roe versus Wade, because I'm in California and California continues to do abortions. This is not even about the argument about this. Third close. I'm a Baptist preacher's daughter. I'm closing it. This is my third and official close. This is also time for us as Black women to stop arguing with other people and each other about unimportant issues. I have literally shown you what we're up against when we go to the healthcare system. And by the way, Auntie Love will also tell you who makes administration and who dominates maternity wards. Well, they have some sisters and wives and daughters and mothers. I remember the difference when I was in hospital seriously for the first time. I noticed the treatment between how white women treated me and other people did, but there were just enough people around me that nothing could go wrong. But I picked up the attitude difference. I did. Thankfully, it wasn't serious and they knew I was fully conscious. So what I did was I went on and had my pain medication cut back a little bit. And one of the other dark-skinned nurses, I can't remember if she was Filipino, but she said, it's very wise that you have decided to adjust your medication to be present with us. I remember that. We don't have time to argue about stupid stuff right now with each other or anyone else. Anyone who wants to argue about stupid stuff needs to be dropped. And y'all know I'm the mistress of dropping folk over silly stuff. This is why. Share this video out. Get your life together while you have it. Make sure that when the sisters around you, daughters, sisters, granddaughters, nieces, friends, that they are armed and aware, and that you are making it be known that your sister, your black sister, and the child that is coming have backup. If you need more material, I'm providing you this. Auntie Love can provide you page after page after page of information that you need so that you can go and be an advocate for yourself and your child, or a friend or a relative. Confidence with Love channel. If you need that information, let it be known in the comments. We can do a whole Wild Aunties about it if you need it. It'll be probably the grimmest one you've ever heard, but we can do it. And we'll do it if it's asked for. Have a good day anyway. I'm making us aware. Why? So that we can actually do something about it. I'm going to repeat the homework that you need to perform to safeguard yourself and the women that you love in the description. Have a good day anyway. Bye.